Horror Lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 418. It is theme week. It is alternative cut week. And so what I have for you guys is the final cut of maybe Ridley Scott's seminal, absolute masterpiece of science fiction filmmaking, of course. We are talking Blade Runner from 1982. And here it is, man. The Warner Brothers release back in the day, just a little bit. I remember getting this thing from a Sam's Club of all places. Had a Sam's Club not too far. This is when I lived back home in New York. And, and they sold movies. And I wish Sam sold movies today. At least mine doesn't here in Georgia. Not sure why. I wish they did. But, back when these DVD releases, man, were pretty something to behold. Look at this, man. This is a 4-disc set. Some of you probably know this release. Maybe some of you don't. But, man, you get 4 discs, right? You got the final cut in there. You got a disc that has the international cut, director's cut, and the theatrical cut. You got a disc for archive material. You've got a disc just specifically for Dangerous Days, the making of Blade Runner. Of course, one disc is just for the final cut, since that is that's the main point of this release. Was Ridley Scott. This is the first time he had complete and absolute creative control over this particular version of this film. In fact, I think the runtime just runs a little bit shorter than all the others, which is kind of interesting. But before I get any too deeper into this, it is BodyBags, right? And so as we clean up this month and get ready for September, looking at some bootleg horror coming your way in like 2 weeks. Then we'll wrap up the month with movies that begin with the letter that is the first letter of our YouTube channels. And then into October is my month, right, for theme week. So we got some island horror. But before we get that far, we got 2 weeks in, we got films from 1986. So not sure how all that's going to fall, but I know island horror is one of my favorite subgenres. And so there's some stuff to look forward out as we continue to get closer and closer to Halloween. Now back to Blade Runner. Man, I'm telling you, I'm not an expert on the differences between all the various releases. I know there's some controversy that comes along with a few of them. I know Ridley wasn't too happy, and when he finally got his chance to create, in his mind, the perfect cut. And one thing that, a lot of the narration, voiceover, whatever, is removed. Like in the end, it's a much more darker ending, which I prefer. Which is funny because in another version, when him and Rachel, Harrison Ford, we know this, right, man? Rutger Hauer is Roy Batty, man. Of course, Harrison Ford, Sean Young is Rachel. Olmos, man, who plays Gaff from, I think he was in Miami Vice. Brian James, man, from the horror show, man. He's in this. He's freaking great, man. Leon. So there's some of your cast, man, but it is a freaking stellar cast. What's interesting, I was listening to Ridley Scott's commentary on the final cut the other day, and he did make the point, well, no, maybe that's his Dangerous Days, I think. Point was made about in casting, before Harrison Ford came into the picture, Dustin Hoffman, for not just a few weeks, a couple months, was worked with for the potential lead in this film. And that's interesting. I do love Harrison Ford. But Robert Mitchum was Hampton, the original screenwriter. That was his first choice for Deckard. And then, of course, Peoples would come in and supplant him as screenwriter. But ultimately, this is Ridley's vision adapted from the source material, which is Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which as source material ought to be read because you can glean, some stuff from there into what is the final vision of Ridley Scott's film. But different. Some of the things that are in that are much different. But this is Ridley's. Ultimately, this is Ridley's film, and Hampton and Peoples. Hampton unwillingly, Peoples more willingly serve the interests of Ridley's vision. As he says, man, the camera is his weapon, and he's going to get what he wants whether you're on board or not. He's going to get it, and you got to admire that in a filmmaker. Let me just, aside from that, what I was going to say is in the happier version, when you see him, I don't know why I got off, but him and Rachel, go driving off, and you got the overview shot of the woods and stuff, or the wilderness. That some of that footage compliments of Stanley Kubrick in his leftover footage from The Shining. I thought was kind of interesting, but I'm going to say, I'm just going to share here in just a couple minutes. I'm just going to share some of my favorite, what I love about Blade Runner, man, more than anything, I think. But let me just real quick, Vangelis does the score is freaking phenomenal. The only other movie I'm familiar with that he did was Altered States. Yeah, what do I love about Blade Runner? I love the genetic sort of, or the DNA that is evident in both Blade Runner. It shares with Alien shares with Blade Runner ultimately, because this is a shared universe. And that, to me, man, Ridley on his commentary said, in terms of this world that he has created, this universe, this palette that he has created, this is a world heavily dominated by Asia. And we see this, right, just in the presence of LA. But this is a world that is oligarchic in terms of industrial, how did he phrase it, industrial imperialist, almost sort of communist in a sense, but oligarchic. 2 or 3 companies really run the entire planet. And of course, environmentalism is part of the main subtext. For the most part, the wildlife has been just pretty much knocked off the planet, and that's why we see the replicants in terms of pets. We'll see the snake, and we'll see the owl, and right. And these things are necessary because much of the wildlife has just been gone, which plays much stronger in Phillips' source material, his book, Androids, right? But I love just the idea when Ridley says, if the crew of the Nostromo from Alien would have returned to Earth unmolested, they would have most likely come to the LA of Blade Runner. In fact, he goes even as far as to say, you could imagine Parker, him and the others visiting a bar just around the corner from where Deckard lives. And to me, that concept, just imagining it, there's this beautiful scene, if you remember, when Deckard is leaning over the railway of his place, overlooking the city from up on high. And I couldn't help but to imagine, what if those eggs were dropped? What if that payload did make its way to Earth? You start imagining the aliens infesting this LA, this city of Blade Runner. Man, you have the makings of something, oh man, so freaking incredible. It's too bad. I love Prometheus, and I loved what he tried to do with Alien Covenant, and of course we're still waiting for that third piece, but I almost wish he would have just leapt into a series of films that would have brought these two films more in line with one another. I think it would have been fantastic. I love the idea when we never see it, right, but storyboards and the extras and stuff, but we never see the rebellion on one of the colonies on the outer world, right? Roy leads the rebellion, and of course they make their way back. It's just, man, it's just the issue of life. It's the issue of seeking your creator for answers. Of course, they do not want to die. I mean, they're made so perfectly, and of course, Blade Runner 2049 takes that even a little further, right? With the idea that Deckard and Rachel will have a son, which should not happen considering she's a replicant, and well, depending on how you feel on the matter, Deckard is either a replicant or he's not a replicant. I choose to just lean on the side that he is not. I think Ridley of late has said no, Deckard is a replicant. And I know there's questions about when Gaff leaves the little unicorn, and of course, we have the dream sequence of the unicorn in the final cut, and that would seem to say Gaff being part of the system, they know he's a replicant. And no, he does not know. But if you remember, he says the same about Rachel, and I don't know if it's any other cut, but I know in the final cut, he says, he says of Rachel, how does she not know what she is? Well, that may be the question that he ought to be asking himself if he, in fact, is truly a replicant. So, I mean, there's so much, man. Ridley creates this incredible world. The palette that he works from is just absolutely insane. You get that with almost any movie he does. He knows, as an artist, how to paint, and the canvas just comes to life, and he immerses you into a world, literally, where every single piece of that screen lights up, and there's something to look at. I mean, I don't think you could get ever bored watching Alien or watching Blade Runner or watching any one of his movies. There's always something happening in every frame as it glides right by. There's something to latch onto and look at. And I think I just love Ridley, man. I love the Blade Runner. I love what they did with 49. But I wish before he leaves this earth, I wish there's a way, I wish he would just be able to create for us an extended universe, or a universe that sees more clearly the interaction between Blade Runner and Alien. I think, man, that could be some hardcore science fiction stuff. Anyways, I'm probably going way too far. But I just, it is alternative cut week. I prefer the final cut to any other version of the film. That is my preferred cut of Blade Runner. I freaking love it. That is the only one that I really watch. So we'll see throughout the rest of the week as the other vids drop, man, and we see others' takes on varying different alternative cuts of different films, and we'll see, man. But for Blade Runner, for me, it is the final cut, man. And so, man, I told you what to look forward to, man, the next couple months. Got some good stuff coming on, plus this football season's about to kick in, Labor Day weekend. Got some Georgia Clemson going on. Of course, my Bills looked great the other day, so good stuff, man. Good stuff. And we always end these things off with Go Bills.